Well, good evening, friends. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. So, I was curious as what the dead money hit and the real cost of this trade was going to be with Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff. Um, this move, more than anything else, for the Rams was made out of desperation. The Rams were unfortunately in a bad position because they don't believe in number one picks. The last number one pick they used was on Jared Goff, and evidently that just scared them out of the way and said, "We just want to get known commodities. We're not going to take chances on number one picks." And I mean, that's the only way you can look at this. They don't have a number one pick until 2024. 2024. I'll be almost 60 years old when they have another pick. I know you're looking, you mean you're not already 60? No, I'm not already 60. I'm 55. But be that as it may, the problem for the Rams was they don't have a lot of draft capital for this year to improve. They look at it and say, we've got a finite time. Aaron Donald is going to be great, but we only have so much time to get there. Jared Goff's not going to be the answer for my system, and we need a guy right now. Damn the torpedoes full steam ahead. They don't have the draft capital to try and reach or the time to try and get one of these young quarterbacks. We've got to make a trade and say, let's mortgage the future for it. But here's the problem for the Rams and why they had to make this move with somebody. Jared Goff, had they just went ahead and said, we're just going to cut you, would have been a $65 million hit. Now, if they had taken it as a post June 1st cut, it would have still been $49 million hit, making their cap situation even worse. You couldn't keep him because he's not good enough for you to keep to play. You got to move him. Well, as it stands right now, um, it ends up being, hold up, let me get the exact number because I don't want to lie to you, a $22.2 million cap hit. That still has to be part of the equation. So it actually gave them some cap space, but let me go back to it. His contract, he was almost 35 million. So basically, this gives them $13 million, savings on there. So that'll drop their cap number down to only being about 18 million over. Okay, so you can work with like Aaron Donald's contract and maybe Robert Woods' contract and, get some cap relief to get you back down to at least zero. But still does not leave you room to really go for a lot of free agents. You're going to have to cut some people elsewhere to be able to make any other moves. So at this point, what Sean McVay and the staff have said is, we got to get a quarterback right now, and we'll deal with the future. We'll just tear it all up. And they are literally gambling on the future for this year coming up. It is Super Bowl or bust, there's no other way to equate it. And the problems for the Rams are of their own making because this is insane. The Rams have the two worst dead money cap hits. They're a two-time winner. Brandon Cooks last year, they took a $21.8 million cap hit right there. You got 22 right now with Jared Goff. Add to that, you also had Todd Gurley, who was another $20 million cap hit, but they ended up making it post June 1st, which spread it out over 2 seasons. So 3 of the total worst cap hits in the history of football, the Rams have made in over 3 years. Hence, the reason why they're in cap hell. Now, the other part of this equation is they decide to take number one picks, and they will trade them for guys left and right, and it will, it's boosted. I mean, they got Jalen Ramsey. We'll see how Matthew Stafford works for them as far as, will he make him a better team? He's got better weapons than Detroit. He's definitely got a better mind, coaching mind for sure. Matthew Stafford should elevate that team. I'm not saying that he won't. He should. And it's a great opportunity for Matthew Stafford, although it was kind of curious that he wanted to go anywhere but New England. I would think that New England, although New England doesn't pay anybody, but New England would give you that best chance at getting that Super Bowl, I would think, with Bill Belichick. But what do I know? So for them, this move was all about getting this thing done. So how insane is it? As I look back, it's almost crazy. As we sit here and we talk about um, trying to get Dak Prescott's deal done and the amount of money it cost, last year the Rams had $38 million in dead money. Brandon Cooks, $21.8 million. Todd Gurley, $11.7 million. Clay Matthews, $2 million, and then the rest of them are kind of small ones. But when you got a 21, 11, and all that's enough right there. And so mismanagement of personnel, of getting high-priced guys, and this is the problem, when you make a flyer at a big free agent and they don't pan out. This is the thing. Listen to me now. When you have a big free agent or you get these big contracts, they're going to kill you. And you got to end up having these guys pan out. So you have to be really, really careful when you look at saying, let's go out and get this guy, or let's go out and get that guy. Because if they're only there and you sign that big fat contract, you're screwed in the long run. So I will I will enjoy seeing how this pans out next year, and we'll revisit this situation then. Now, for the Lions end up having the fourth worst dead money cap hit, which is Matthew Stafford, because they are having to pay $19 million of it. And let me check the Lions. But the Lions are in full rebuild mode. What it'll probably be is, I could see if somebody offered him a ham sandwich for Jared Goff, they would probably take it, because especially sooner than later, or they may look at him as a stopgap guy. So before the Matthew Stafford trade goes through, they had $1.6 million. The cap number for Matthew Stafford for this year was 33. 19 million will be the cap hit. So we're talking about they're saving $14 million. So they now have about $16 million of cap room to work with. So they don't have to do anything between now and March 1st. They're good. They've got $16 million that they can use to try and get some free agents, and they could try and create some more cap space. If they want to, they could probably work on like Trey Flowers deal and get some cap relief on there if they believe they're going to keep him around for a few years. They could make some cuts where they could save some other money elsewhere. So this is the game of when you say go out and buy a defense or get a lot of free agents. This is the gamble that you make, trying to make it work out. And when you do extend a guy, and this goes for Dak Prescott as well, that if you end up signing a guy to a big multi-year contract, and we're facing this ourselves because we look at Zeke Elliott and say, he's not performing. We look at Jalen Smith and saying, we're not getting value for these guys. And you're going to take a hit. And that hit still, even though you got rid of them, it still ends up being pain that you end up paying, for a couple of years. Because still, Todd Gurley, who played in Atlanta last year, they're still paying $8 million this year on their cap for the Rams. So that's just a little bit of the nuts and bolts and how this is going to sit for each of these teams. Rams are still way over on the cap with no number one draft picks to work with. The Lions have a little bit more space and a lot of draft picks to be working with in the future. Doesn't mean, they won't get them until next year, but hey, better to have that right there ready to go, and a great opportunity for the coaching staff, for the Lions to start building and developing a team. All right, that's all I got to say on that one. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will talk to you soon.